Hello everyone, it's Melissa Sweet here, public health journalist from Croaky. I'm very delighted that we have the opportunity here from Joe, Albany. We're sitting on the banks of the Wingecarribee River. Joe's going to acknowledge country in a moment. We're just sitting downstream from Clinton Pryor's camp at Berrima. And Joe has a lovely story to tell us about the cloak that he has been presented with this week on his epic walk across Australia as he now heads into the final leg to Canberra. So Joe, could you please just introduce yourself and tell us where we are?
Hi, I'm Jo Albany. I'm a Kalkadoon woman on my mother's side and Maltese on my dad's side. We are sitting on Gundungurra country, and I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land and pay my respects to the elders past, present and future, like Clinton, who is walking across country to do this marvellous justice walk.
Earlier this week, Clinton was presented with a cloak from possum skins in a presentation in Mittagong from the Wingecarribee Shire Council. Could you please tell us a little bit about the history of the cloak?
Yeah, I was Aboriginal Liaison Officer at the time for Wingecarribee Council, and we were attempting with the elders to do some cultural renewal practices, projects that would get people involved again in traditional practices. And we'd done some weaving and boomerang making and didge making. And I went to Canberra to the museum and found out that there was a Gundungurra cloak, a possum cloak down there that had been taken late 1700s or early 1800s, and it was then given to the museum, and it had been on display, and I happened to see it and found out that it was from here and got all inspired. And it was a community project led by Auntie Val Mulcahy, who's a Russell, a Gundungurra woman, and She helped guide the project. We had young people, old people, elders sewed it, and we used a simulated sinew. We had 36 pelts, and we bought them from a Maori business in New Zealand because they're ferals over there. So we bought 40 pelts, and we tried burning in with the first 4 until we felt confident, because it's very soft. It's not like kangaroo skin, you can burn through it easy. So then each family designed a pattern on one pelt that represented them, their family, and they could do contemporary or traditional, whatever they knew. There was no judgment around what they put on there, but it had to represent their family, so that would then be passed on through the community and used for ceremony. And it was completed. It took us about 6 months over time of workshops and weekends. And then we also used ochre from the site where it was made to colour some of the panels, and all the schools were involved in doing a panel for their school community as well. We had health
in what area?
In the Wingecarribee in the Southern Highlands. We had health, and we had local workers like the Aboriginal Liaison Officer who was coming into the job. I was just holding it till she started. She put her family on there, and we learnt a lot about possum cloaks and how they would have been used originally by the traditional people. As we were doing it, people came out and started telling us, oh, I heard this and I heard that. So that was really fascinating, all those stories. And we decided that it would be held by council, so it wouldn't become any one community Aboriginal organisation property. It would belong to everyone, and you can apply through council under protocols to then use it for ceremony for young people when they're graduating, or for funerals, or for whatever people feel they would like to use it for. And it's recently been used for an elder who passed away. And so this is only the 3rd time that it's been out for ceremony, and Clinton is going to take it to Canberra, and everyone is so proud that our cloak, with all that love, has gone into it, and all those stories from our mob here is going to go down to Canberra and be part of this important call for justice, which we totally support here.
Thank you, Joe. Can you what year was it that you finished making the cloak?
2015, end of 2015.
Fantastic. And that's such a lovely and powerful story that you've shared, and I'm just thinking Clinton must be going to take so many stories with him into Canberra.
Yeah, definitely. And it's taking on energy all the time, the cloak. Every time it gets used, you can see there's a bit more ochre on it, and there's a little bit more, it's coming alive. The more it's being used, it's sort of starting to feel feel like it belongs to, you know, all the community. And yeah, it's a really lovely feeling.
And so we'll be putting a story up at Croaky this week, encouraging our readers to participate in the rally with Clinton in Canberra on Sunday. If they can't be there in person, they can follow it on social media using the Clinton's Walk hashtag or following Clinton Pryor on Twitter. What do you hope will come out of, you know, his walk and the event on Sunday?
Well, I sincerely hope that the Western Australian government listens to his message and stops these forced closures. They're causing pain to people who have lost hope, you know, that the government will ever help them to live the way they want to live. They need to have self-determination back, and Clinton's message is just so important. It's just causing so much sadness, and I really hope that the government listens.
What difference has his walk made for you personally?
What it's doing here is bringing people together in a really different and positive way. Sometimes we all get busy in doing our own thing, but all the goodwill from people, Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander, everyone coming together and cooking, and the goodwill of the Berrima Scout Camp to give it to us for free, you know, buses for free, all these things you're seeing. Really, people are getting behind this because they know what's happening over there is wrong, and they want to see the right thing be done.
I've just been speaking to some of the people working in the kitchen up there at the Scout camp at Berrima, and people were saying that a lot of local businesses in the Southern Highlands had been very supportive, donating food and other supplies.
Yeah. All sorts of businesses and Meals on Wheels, and you know, just people donating whatever cash they had on them, petrol. Yeah, it's been amazing to see the goodwill. The motel, Mittagong Motel, everyone giving stuff, whatever they can.
Fantastic. And I'll just end with, I'll go on to look at the reflections there. And you mentioned you saw platypus earlier here.
Yeah, platypus and the white-tailed water rat.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, everyone.